Is this thing on? Okay, cool. Hello, everybody. My name is Brendan Warren. I'm a co-director of the Northwoods Wind Ensemble. I'm currently going into my last year at Bemidji State University for music education. I'm a Pillager Schools alumni. Normally, conductors don't talk at the beginning of this program, but for this one, I am. Just because I wanted to say a couple thanks and talk about our first two pieces we're going to do. First thing I want to say thanks to our first ever sponsor, Torres LLC, with a gracious donation to the band. If you need any handyman work done, it's in the insert in the middle of your program. Give him a call. I know he's a good guy. Thanks to anyone who's given us a donation at this concert, at our last concert, anywhere in between. I greatly appreciate it. We all greatly appreciate it. It's going to help us buy music and so many other things. And if you want to be recognized in the program for next summer, there's envelopes in the lobby where you can put your name on there and if you put money in. Anyways, onto the music. That's why you guys are here, not to hear me yap. The first piece we're going to do is called The Olympic Spirits by John Williams. This piece was written for the Olympics back in I've written down. Maybe I don't. 1986, I think. And it was actually written just for TV. It wasn't written for any ceremonies or anything like that. NBC was just like, we need some background music. So he wrote it, and now it became a really famous piece by John Williams for the Olympics. And then followed by that, if you look in your program, we're going to have a wonderful clarinetist, Jeannie Rohrer, Olympic clarinet athlete, follow up with Clarinet Escapade. Jeannie's just awesome. She was the band director at Staples Motley for 32 years. She plays in almost every ensemble in the area you could probably think of. She's a very busy lady. And honestly, whenever I hear about a new thing coming up, like CLC community band or anything like that, I'm like, I wonder if Jeannie's playing. And normally the answer is yes. And we wanted to feature here today. And I'm so glad to feature her and other people in the clarinet section, such as Katie Brimhall, Max Summers, and Christina Myers. So there won't really be much of a pause in between Olympic Spirit, Clarinet Escapade, but after that, feel free to clap. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Olympic Spirit, followed by Clarinet Escapade. Maybe? All right, we're back. Wasn't she great? The same to Katie, Max, and Christina. I mean, I'm happy I'm waving my arms and not playing that. Anyways, let's move on to this next piece. This next piece is something I'm sure almost everyone here is familiar with. The Pillsbury Players did this play last year. A lot of people in this ensemble were part of the Pit, or Rob Friel if he directed the Pit. And yeah, it's just a great piece. It's one of my favorite musicals by far. It's a staple in the musical theater world. Yeah. Anyways, you've heard pretty much enough of me. I lost my place. This next piece is going to be The Music Man by Meredith Wilson, arranged by Alfred Reed. trying to point to Steve Anderson because he did a really great euphonium solo until there was you. Yeah, you guys can clap. That gives me time to pull up my notes that I read very poorly. Okay. This next piece is an absolute band staple. I'd say it's the staple in band music. It's one of the first ever large works written for band music. It's Gustav Holst's First Suite in E flat. This piece was written all the way back in 1909. I don't remember that long ago. I wasn't born. This time, there was a lot of different instruments that were in the band that aren't around today. So there's a lot of instruments in this piece that were written for, and it's like, what the heck is that? Where do I find that? Until we had one person here, John Thompson. He came to me. He's like, "Hey, I have this really cool instrument. Do we want to use it?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm sure I've never seen this before until our concert. This is called the bass saxophone. So the bass saxophone is played in key what? What key? B flat. And it's larger than the Barry saxophone, which Justine's holding there. This thing's a monster. And you'll get to hear it here in the First Suite in E flat. This was invented prior to World War II, and then when World War II happened, it kind of fell out of the mix. But we're using it today in Pillager, Minnesota, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, the First Suite in E flat, we have 3 movements. So first is the chaconne, followed by the intermezzo, and then it ends with the march. So in between, you're going to hear a little pause in between each movement. Refrain from clapping until the end. Just save it. That's typical practice with these kind of pieces. So I know you're really excited. Just save it for the end. Yeah, if I don't have anything else, I hope you enjoy First Suite in E flat by Gustav Holst. Oh. Should have worked on the standing up part in practice. I'm just kidding, guys. There were so many people who had great solos. Could you just give them all another round of applause? Like I said, for Clarinet Escapade, that's not easy stuff, and they did it tremendously. I didn't do that very tremendously, though. Our last piece of this half for me is going to be Southern Hymn by Samuel Hazo. This piece is, I lost it. It's inspired by American folk songs such as Amazing Grace and Shenandoah. And you'll hear it in this piece. It'll just be little snippets. You'll be like, oh, that kind of sounds like Shenandoah. Oh, that kind of sounds like Amazing Grace, but it's not exactly like that. It's got a beautiful trumpet solo. It's one of my favorite pieces I'm conducting. So I hope you enjoy Southern Hymn before we turn it over to Tristan Heller.
Hello, my name is Tristan Heller, and I'm also one of the co-directors of the Northwoods Wind Ensemble. I also teach K-12 music and band up at Northland Reamer High School and Elementary School. I'm going to finish the last three pieces of this concert, starting with the Hunger Games. Hunger Games has had a resurgence because they just had a book and a movie come out for the the Ballad of a Songbird and a Snake. I think I just messed it up a little bit, but you guys know what I mean. You know, a prequel to the main Hunger Games trilogy, and now they just announced that there's another one coming out, I think next summer. Does that sound right? Hunger Games is back in the public light again, so we just figured we'd do a little medley of some songs from the original trilogy. Next up, we have a piece called When the Stars Began to Fall, or also known as Oh Lord, What a Morning. And this piece is originally an African American spiritual and has been rearranged in many, many different formats, traditional hymnal format, or in this band version, or other arrangements for choir. It's just an all-around beautiful hymn. So another hymn to round off this program. All right. Before we play our final piece today, I just want to give a few thank yous, kind of like Brendan did at the beginning. First of all, I want to thank Brendan for inviting me to come work with this band this year. Working with Brendan's been great. We both are Bemidji State alum, so we're already friends, so it made it pretty easy. But it's just been a great experience to come here and work with, young musicians, old musicians, musicians that haven't had any formal training beyond high school, and musicians that have master's degrees and actually doctorate degrees. So it's just a really cool experience, and it's different than working with students. Not that working with students isn't great. It's awesome to work with them, but it's also awesome to work with these fine people. So thank you, musicians. I just want to give one more thank you to all of you that have donated or are business sponsor. We're working on getting nonprofit status, which you think would be easier than it is, but there's a lot of forms and a lot of filing fees to file those forms, and we're just trying to raise as much money as we can to get that done. So if you are feeling charitable, we will happily accept a free will donation on your way out. So we appreciate everything that you, both your presence here and if you choose to donate. New development as of last week, the Pillager Lions has actually agreed to help work with us and do some fundraising with us. So we're excited to be partnering with the Pillager Lions Club in the future to raise some funds for the band as well. All right, last piece, Fairest of the Fair by John Philip Sousa, most famous march composer of all of America, all of American history. The Fairest of the Fair, it's not quite like some of the marches you know. It's a very flowy, melodic march, so it's going to sound very pretty and elegant and maybe not like an army rolling on through. A little story about this. If you saw the Facebook video, you'll know this already, but Sousa was commissioned to write this piece for a fair in Boston back in, I think, 1908. And back in the day, the Sousa Band went everywhere that there was anything happening. Any sort of fair, town parade, festival, you name it, they were there. And he wrote the Fairest Fair. He titled it because he had been to this Boston Fair several times, and he always noticed this one fine young lady, and he thought she was the fairest of the fair, so hence the name. But on the way to play the gig, to debut the piece, they were on the train, and the librarian for the Sousa Band, because there's a lot of music to be managed. Don't ask me or Brendan how much time we spent doing library duties. Realized we don't have parts made for the piece we're supposed to debut. And nowadays, you'd be like, oh, I'll just walk over to the printer and I'll just run off some copies. That's fine. Well, all they had was Sousa's original score that he had handwritten of the piece, and they had blank staff paper and a pencil. So the librarian got to work overnight and hand copied all of the parts for all of the instruments for the gig that night. And he worked all the way through the night. Morning came, and Sousa came and saw what happened, and he was like, oh, well, you really saved our butts there, bud, and said, go sleep it off in the hotel room. And then he also found an extra $50, which was 2 weeks' pay at that time in his paycheck. So a little bit of weird history about this piece, but we're going to close it off. Sousa, Fairest of the Fair. Thank you for coming tonight, this afternoon.
Thank you all for coming. We're done for the summer. We'll be back next summer. So I hope to see every single one of you in those seats again, whatever date it is, because they're not set yet. But we'll see you then. Thank you, everybody.